Most people wake up and immediately give their day away. They reach for their phone before their feet touch the floor. They let the news, the notifications, the opinions of strangers, and the demands of others set the tone for the next 16 hours before they have had a single conscious thought of their own. And then they wonder why they feel reactive, scattered, behind, like the day is happening to them rather than being lived by them. The Stoics understood something about mornings that most people never discover. The first hour of your day is not just the beginning of your day, it is the foundation of your mind. The quality of everything that follows, your decisions, your responses, your capacity to handle difficulty, is largely determined by what you do before the world gets access to you. Marcus Aurelius woke before dawn every single day, not to be productive, not to get ahead of his schedule, but to prepare his mind for what was coming, to arm himself with the clarity and the intention that would allow him to face whatever the day brought without losing himself in it. In this video, I'm going to share the Stoic morning routine that changes everything. Not a rigid protocol, a set of practices rooted in 2,000 years of philosophy that will transform the way you start, and therefore live, every single day. Write in the comments right now, "I own my morning." Say it before this video ends. Practice 1. Wake with intention, not with reaction. The first decision of your day is made before you are fully conscious. It is the decision about what gets your attention first. For most people, that decision has already been made for them by the algorithm that designed their phone to be the first thing they reach for, by the notification that pulls them into someone else's urgency before they have established their own. The Stoics made this decision deliberately. Marcus Aurelius began each morning by reminding himself of what kind of person he intended to be that day, not what he intended to accomplish, who he intended to be, the character he was choosing to embody before the world had a chance to test it. This is the most important practice in the entire routine, because everything else follows from it. Before you look at your phone, before you check your messages, before you let the outside world in, take 2 minutes to ask yourself one question. Who do I choose to be today? Not perfectly, not in every situation, but as a direction, as an intention, as a commitment you make to yourself in the quiet before the noise begins. That commitment, made consistently, changes everything. Practice 2. Prepare for difficulty before it arrives. This is one of the most counterintuitive practices in Stoic philosophy, and one of the most powerful. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius would sit with the anticipated difficulties of the day, not to dread them, not to catastrophize, but to prepare for them, to decide in the calm of the morning how he intended to respond before the moment arrived and emotion had a chance to override reason. He wrote about this practice directly. He would remind himself that he would encounter ungrateful people, difficult people, dishonest people. And rather than being surprised and destabilized by them, he would decide in advance how a person of good character responds to these things. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties, and its practical effect is remarkable. When you have already imagined the difficult conversation, the frustrating delay, the unexpected setback, and you have already decided how you will meet it, you are no longer at the mercy of your first reaction. You have given yourself something to fall back on, a predetermined response rooted in your values rather than your impulses. Spend 5 minutes each morning asking yourself what difficulties might arise today, and then ask how the person you intend to be would meet them. That preparation is worth more than any amount of reactive problem solving later in the day. Practice 3. Read something that sharpens your mind. The Stoics were voracious readers, not for entertainment, for instruction. Seneca wrote that we should read the great thinkers every morning, not just to absorb their ideas, but to absorb their way of seeing. To borrow, temporarily, the perspective of someone who has thought more deeply about the things that matter than we have had the time to think about ourselves. Marcus Aurelius read philosophy every morning. Epictetus taught philosophy every morning. They treated the sharpening of their minds as a non-negotiable part of daily life, not something they did when they had time, something they made time for every single day because they understood that an unsharpened mind is a liability in a world that requires constant judgment. You do not need to read for hours. 10 minutes of genuine, focused reading from something that challenges your thinking is enough to set a different quality of mind for the entire day. The meditations of Marcus Aurelius, the letters of Seneca, the Enchiridion of Epictetus, these are not historical documents. They are morning medicine. Taken daily, they change the quality of your thinking over weeks and months in ways that are difficult to fully describe but impossible to miss. Read something that makes you think better every morning without exception. Practice 4. Move your body before the world moves you. The Stoics were not sedentary philosophers. They understood the relationship between the body and the mind with a clarity that modern science is only now confirming. A body that has been moved, even briefly, produces a mind that is clearer, more resilient, and more capable of the kind of deliberate thinking that Stoic practice requires. Marcus Aurelius trained physically every morning, not as performance, not as a health ritual, as a form of discipline that reinforced the discipline he was trying to build in his mind. Because the body and the mind are not separate systems, they are one system, and the practice of pushing through physical discomfort, of doing what is necessary rather than what is comfortable, trains something that carries over directly into how you handle the discomforts of the day. You do not need an hour. 20 minutes of movement, done consistently every morning, will change the baseline quality of your mind over time in ways that no supplement or strategy can match. Move before the day begins, not for how you will look, for how you will think. Practice 5. Set one clear intention for the day. This is the practice that ties everything together. Not a to-do list, not a schedule, one clear intention. One thing that, if you bring it to everything you do today, will make this day worth having lived. It might be patience. It might be full presence with the people around you. It might be courage in one specific conversation you have been avoiding. It might be the decision to do your work with genuine care rather than mechanical efficiency. Epictetus taught that clarity of intention is the beginning of all virtue. Because without knowing what you are aiming at, every action is arbitrary. Every response is reactive. Every day is lived by default rather than by design. When you set one clear intention each morning and return to it throughout the day, something shifts. The day stops being a series of things that happen to you and becomes something you are actively shaping. A day with a direction, a day that is, in the deepest sense, yours. The Stoic morning routine is not complicated. Wake with intention, prepare for difficulty, read something that sharpens you, move your body, set one clear intention. 5 practices, 30 to 40 minutes. Done consistently, they do not just change your mornings, they change who you are by the end of the year. Because every morning you practice this, you become slightly more deliberate, slightly more grounded, slightly more the person you have decided to be rather than the person your circumstances are trying to make you. And those slight differences, accumulated over months and years, are the difference between a life that was lived and a life that was chosen. That is the Viastoica, the Stoic path. And it begins every single morning in the quiet before the world gets access to you. If this video gave you something you needed today, subscribe to Viastoica. Every week, ancient wisdom for the life you are actually trying to build. Write in the comments which of these 5 practices you are starting tomorrow morning. I read every single one. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, 2,000 years ago, still true today. See you on the path.